Welcome back. Last month, I spoke with a woman who once nicknamed herself the MAGA Granny, but now she refers to the MAGA movement as a, quote, cult, and even refused a pardon from President Trump for her role in the January 6th riots. Her decision compelled former Vice President Mike Pence to write her a letter.
I started crying because it's been so hard to forgive myself for ever being there that day on January 6th. It's hard to forgive yourself. But it was like, I looked at it and I said, I think I can move on and I'm going the right direction. A part of me felt like it's okay to forgive myself now.
I spoke with former Vice President Pence about that letter yesterday and about how the Trump administration has responded to the prosecution of Hemphill and others who were at the riots. This president, President Trump, pardoned everyone, even those who committed acts of violence against law enforcement that day, and has since fired anyone who was in the Justice Department who was associated, even line prosecutors, who didn't have discretion over whether they were involved in the prosecution of those January 6th cases, and even people on the press shop who just wrote press releases about what the Justice Department was doing. Does that strike you as straight up retaliation over that?
January 6th was a tragic day.
I know you believe that.
And I'll always believe I did my duty under the Constitution that day. And I'll believe that the law enforcement officers at the Capitol who secured the Capitol
did their duty.
After hours of rioting did their duty. And members of the Justice Department who prosecuted people that engaged in criminal behavior at the Capitol also did their duty. And I have been disappointed to see reports that there's been retribution and firings of people that were simply doing their job, enforcing the law and holding people to account. And as I've said, look, I know there were lots of people, Pam may have been one of them, that was caught up in that riot.
In the fervor of it at all.
Swept into the building. But did not engage in violence against law enforcement officers or engage in vandalism. And I had no problem with the president pardoning those Americans. But people that assaulted police officers, that vandalized the United States Capitol to a lesser extent, I think needed to be held to the strictest account of the law. And I think the president was wrong to pardon those individuals. I think, look, there can be no tolerance for political violence inspired by any viewpoint, left, right, or center in this country. And I thought what the president's decision really undermined that principle.
Last week on this program, former Deputy Director of the Secret Service, A.T. Smith, said the environment around political violence in this country has never been worse, based on his experience.
Well, I mean, I was troubled by what we saw in Los Angeles, police officers being attacked in the streets, fireworks being fired, Minnesota the same. I just, look, the commitment to the rule of law is a bulwark of our society. It's one of the reasons why I penned that letter to Pam. Mm-hmm. And I saw her interview on this program, and it touched my heart. I didn't write to her to put it in the newspapers. I wrote to her because I wanted to encourage her in her faith and in her integrity, because it seemed to me that she was that one person who had gained some notoriety. I remember the press right after January 6th, and prosecution of the so-called MAGA Granny was very sympathetic, and but for her simply to accept responsibility for what she did and refuse that pardon, I thought, it didn't just inspire me. I expect it inspired people all over the country. And I really do believe that in time we will get back to that kind of integrity and faith in America. And she'll be remembered as having helped inspire it.